Now that we've actually looked at doing some packet capture, we talked about how you can't see the data using something like TCP dump. So it's great at capturing traffic, but in terms of doing analysis, it's not quite as good as other programs. And so what I'm going to do now is, first of all, I'm going to capture some traffic using TCP dump, and then we're going to use another program to do the analysis of it. If I do TCP dump minus W and then specify a file name, what I'm doing is I'm writing out to that file. Everything that's captured is written out to that file. Now, the other thing I need to do is I need to set the snap length. I'm not just capturing headers or some portion of the packet, I'm getting the entire thing. So if I say 0 here for snap length, then I'm really saying capture everything. I don't care how large it actually is. So at this point, we're capturing everything that is coming through this interface. So not just packets that have been destined for here, but everything that's running across this interface because TCP dump puts the network interface into promiscuous mode. Now, we've captured several packets at this point because this has been running for a few seconds, and there's probably a fair bit of traffic on here, so I'm just going to kill this. Now, I've got 3,921 packets received. And so, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to sniffing and spoofing in the menu, and I'm going to run Wireshark. Wireshark is going to, first of all, generate an error because I am running as root and Wireshark prefers not to do that. I'm just going to click through that. That's okay. It's not ideal to run it as root, but in this particular case, I'm running things on my local network. I don't really worry about the possibility of Wireshark being exploited. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the capture file. What I can also do with Wireshark is I can actually capture packets here. So I could specify ETH0 and then just start capturing packets by clicking on the little shark fin there. But I can also just go and open up the packet capture, and I'm going to specify output.pcap as my capture. And now you can see we've got all of the packets listed up here on top. So Wireshark actually does a really good job of pulling the packet apart for me. So I've got all of the different layers here. I've got the frame, which is the physical layer, tells me that I've got an Ethernet frame. And then if I scroll down a little bit because I pop that open, I've got Ethernet 2, which is the type of Ethernet that we're using here, and it specifies my source and destination MAC address and also says this is an IPv4 packet. Specifically, it's a UDP packet, and I can pop that open and discover that I've got a source port here and a destination port and then a length. And then you'll notice down at the bottom, every time I click one of these, the highlighted section changes because it's showing me where in the actual dump the bytes that we're looking at are. So this source port happens to be 2 bytes. And you can see down at the bottom, it's DE71. And on the right hand side of the bottom, we've got the ASCII decode of that. The first one, DE, that first byte, doesn't decode to something printable, but 71 decodes to Q. In reality, of course, we're not looking for the ASCII decode of it because really it's just a number, which is 56,945. So we've got Wireshark, which can really do a good job of giving us the ability to look at our packet capture data, and it does a really good job of pulling it apart for you so that you can see the different components very clearly and easily. Another example here is if we look at the IP header, there are a lot of components to the IP header, and Wireshark actually extracts those out to their own lines, giving you the information in a way that you can read it rather than having to go down and just look at 00CA, for example, and figuring out that that's really 202, and what that 202 means is it's the total length. So Wireshark is a good way of doing visual packet analysis, and Wireshark really does a lot of good things for you. So it may be a tool that you turn to on a pretty regular basis.